Hey guys, and welcome to Relatives Get Good School. In this episode, we're going to tackle trials. To be more specific, we're going to go over the things you can do to improve your game and increase your chances of getting to the lighthouse. You're probably asking yourself, why should I listen to this tool on the internet? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been to the lighthouse 30 plus times. Now, to someone who's been doing trials and is really good, that probably doesn't sound like a lot of times. But for the people who've never been flawless, which this video is aimed at, that probably sounds like a lot. Got it? Great. The first thing I'm going to cover is weapons, and more specifically, what weapons you choose to use. As you can probably guess, with the almost infinite number of weapons there are in Destiny, there's a lot of choice to be made. It's this exact reason that some weapons are flat out better than others. Quote unquote meta, if you will. Anyways, at the point of recording this video, the dominant weapon types are the low impacts and the low mid-impact pulse rifles, your grasps of Malaks and your hawk saws, respectively. The bullet hose archetypes of auto rifles, your unbent trees and doctrines of passing. There's more flexibility with auto rifles because at the moment they're all quite meh compared to the other options. For hand cannons, you're looking at your Fatebringer and AS Luna archetype. Personally, if you're going to use a hand cannon, I'd recommend the Palindrome that the Crucible vendor's currently selling. Now, scout rifles are weird because not one archetype is actually dominant. They're all quite good, except for maybe the lowest impact variety that does 45 to the head, your Suros DIS 47s. Now, shotguns are a lot more constrictive because right now you have some really powerful shotguns floating around, like your Matador 64s, Party Crasher +1s, Conspiracy Theory Ds, and Last Ditches. And for snipers, it's dealer's choice because as long as you've got Hidden Hand on it, it should be reasonably easy to kill people with. The only archetype I would not recommend for trials is the Waylorans marked archetype, aka the ones that do 98 to the body. Lastly, for heavy weapons, Truth is obviously strong, but LMGs are actually viable now because there's only one heavy crate. Don't take these weapons as a requirement. Use what you've got and do the best that you physically can. That being said, now that we understand the quote-unquote meta, let's look at some situations where you're going to be forced to change your loadout. The first situation is going to be the map. Always strive for a loadout that's balanced between long range and short range. For example, a shotgun and a scout rifle. You always want to have something that works in close range and something that works in long range. On a map like Widow's Court, I would recommend using a sniper and a last word or a hand cannon. You have the last word / hand cannon to deal with the close range engagements, and then your sniper to deal with other snipers and people at a distance. The Trials map of the week can have a really strong impact on the weapons that you use that week. I'm not saying that you are constrained to use certain weapons on certain maps. What I'm saying is pick weapons that will be favoured when playing that map. There are lots of situations where your teammates' loadouts have to influence your loadout. It's for this reason, amongst others, that communication with your teammates is key, even before the match has started. Now let's look at your enemies' loadouts, because these will also affect what you use. If you see 3 warlocks running shotguns, you know that they're probably not going to stay at a distance for very long, meaning that having 2 shotgunners on your team will probably benefit you the most. Keep the sniper though, because that'll allow you to maybe kill one of them before they get close to you, keeping them at arm's length. Just remember that this is still influenced by the map. It comes down to a good fireteam leader to make these calls as the game is loading. Okay, now that we've gone over the part your weapons play in the Trials game, you need to look at your team as players. The first thing you should think about is electing a fire team leader. This is the person that's going to make the game strategies and how you're going to play the map. So, for example, on a map like Bannerfall, if you're going to rush to the outside heavy and use long-range weapons from there, or maybe you're going to rush through the cubby and the inside heavy into their spawn and go from there. Electing a player in a fire team to do this is an important decision because it's going to affect how the game plays and what gunfights each teammate is placed in. A good fire team leader will make plays that the enemy is not expecting, resulting in your team being positioned in a way that is advantageous to your team. Being a fire team leader, just like any skill, is brought about by playing a lot as a team. The more time you spend together, the more time you have to see where each player's strengths and weaknesses are, so you can incorporate it into your team's loadouts and into your plays in-game. In general, and this is for all teammates, you need to practice together. Whether it's playing elimination through the week, skirmish, doubles, whatever you have to do, make sure that you're spending as much time in games with these players. And the last thing we're going to cover in this video, which is potentially the most important thing in Trials, is definitely callouts. Being able to know where an enemy is simply based on 1 or 2 words said by your ally is amazingly useful. If I just say, oh, he's by outside heavy, immediately my entire team knows, okay, there's a guy by outside heavy. You can further improve this by going, what's his health like? What's he doing? Maybe has he got his supercharged? If he's mid-super, you could say, oh, there's a golden gun and outside heavy. If you know where he is, you can maybe post up, position yourself. You can go, okay, there's a golden gun there. I'm going to back off. I'm going to hide behind this wall, wait it out. If you want to improve your callouts, I'd recommend checking out crucibleradio.com. They've got an entire page of maps with the callouts labelled on them, meaning that, one, you could just link your team to it and go, okay, look at this, learn this, and then we can use it in game. I'll put a link in the description. Alternatively, what I recommend doing is taking your team into a private match of the Trials map for that week and basically going, okay, what do we call this? What do we call that? Showing your teammates the different landmarks of the maps as a fire team leader and going, we're going to call this, that, and basically making it so that everyone's on the same page and can make effective callouts. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been your overall guide to Trials. We've not gone into the specifics of stuff like gun skill and positioning on different maps. This is more of a team-based guide to Trials because, let's face it, you can only do so much as one player. If you've liked the video, please drop a lovely like and a comment down below. Give me some feedback on what you want to see next from this series and also any ways you'd like me to improve it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.